Hey man, God wanted me to come on there and say something. I just want y'all to know. Oh yeah, let me talk about my weaknesses. My weaknesses, unforgiveness, anger. I used to I used to believe in, excuses. Even though I did, I'm not gonna say even though I did, but I feel like everybody, life hits a lot of people, but you gotta hit back. You know, Um, I would blame it on, oh, well, nobody in there likes me. Oh, well, nobody in there really likes me. You know what? Nowadays, I don't care who don't like me. I'm gonna still go up there and I'm gonna still, I heard something sometime. Some rapper said, "Don't be scared of the people. Walk up in there and show them that you equal." So I kind of live by that. You can't let oh well, if somebody in there don't like you, so what? Let them. So what? Still get up there and do what you gotta do, say what you gotta say, because you never. I mean, I feel like I've always kind of been like that. Like even if somebody didn't like me, I'd be like, all right, so what? I know I don't really care for like public, especially if somebody doesn't really like me. I've never really been afraid of people. Like growing up, I never really was afraid of anyone. I don't really like. I'm not gonna say I don't really. I don't really. I don't know. But anyway, it's probably like one of my weaknesses. Another weakness. I could say. I would probably say like, since I'm not like afraid of people, like I would probably say like anxiety. I guess like I had anxiety and depression, but that's another thing. Like I would let that be like an excuse, like, but you got to be able to overcome that. There's a lot of overcoming that comes with anxiety and depression. Especially when you may, what I mean. Most of the people in here know, but what's another weakness? Weakness. I would say, I would say, um, I would say, I don't know, man. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about a lot of my weaknesses growing up. I learned a lot about a lot of my weaknesses, and I've tried to overcome every last one of them. I would say being like, I wasn't always the most, um, I wasn't always, the most assertive, but I became assertive. I became more assertive. I became more assertive. The more I kind of like got older, I guess. I wouldn't say the more I got older, but I just became, yeah, yeah, it was sort of like that. The more I got older, the more assertive I got. The more, my life was, I wouldn't say it was easy. It was okay, but it's a lot of things that, I wouldn't say it's a lot of things, but this ain't really like a confession or anything like that. I don't know. This ain't really about my life, but this is just about my weaknesses. God wanted me to say my weaknesses, so me growing up, I kind of you know, I used to be a scared kid, but you know, I just grew up to be a little bit more fearless than your average child. I just grew to be more fearless, more fearless in certain dealings with, certain things. And, I guess like that, I grew to be more fearless, especially, I guess it was just, I don't know. Um, I just grew to be more fearless. I'm not going to say, everybody feels fear, but, is within that fear that you turn that fear into courage. You got to learn to do that. You got to learn to understand it. It's just a feeling. That's all it'll ever be. I'm not saying don't fear going to jail. I'm not saying do fear go to jail, but I'm saying, don't fear anybody. We all pretty much bleed. I'm not saying go out there and be a menace, but I'm saying, you don't have to fear nobody. You could not fear somebody but still do a business deal with them. Just not fear somebody. You know what I mean? That's common sense, though. But that's common sense. You don't have to fear anybody. People are people. You can die just like anybody else could die. There's no reason to fear nobody. So, all right. So, moving along. I want to speak on something else. What else? I want to speak on the fact that, you know, I was kind of like a wild child. I couldn't sit still. Like that was a weakness. Probably focus. Probably, not having, good social skills. Not being able to, overthinking for sure. Overthinking definitely. Uh, I don't know what else. When you grow up, like, and I would say a part of my life. I don't know. I think I want to stop right there.